Irene, if you would please lead us in the invocation, ma'am.
Yes, sir. Lord, we come to you today asking for your guidance, wisdom, and support as we begin this new year. Help us to engage in a meaningful discussion. Allow us to grow closer as we grow. Amen.
You would join me in the pledge of allegiance. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Join me in the Texas pledge, please. Honor the Texas flag.
I pledge allegiance to Texas, one state under God, one and indivisible.
Thank you very much, and good morning to everyone. Irene, roll call, please, ma'am.
Yes, sir. Jerry Garcia.
Yes, ma'am.
Luis Elizondo.
Present.
Leo Gonzalez.
Here.
Devin Bachta.
Here.
Deanna Hedlund. She's not going to be here. Kaylin Chu. Gabriela Hilpo.
Here.
Okay. Susie Sullivan.
Not
and
here,
Kevin
but here.
Hirschnick.
No, she's running late.
Ramiro Canales.
He's here.
Leticia Roberts.
Here.
Melissa Vela.
Here.
And Terry Noy.
Here.
We have a quorum, sir.
Thank you so very much, ma'am. The first order on the agenda is the execution of statement of officer. And who's going to read us on that? Melissa?
So, yes, you have a statement of officer in front of you. If you'll just take a minute and read through that and then sign it, that document does not need to be notarized. It's just your signature that we need. And we have to do that before the oath is administered. And then if you'll just pass those down to me.
What's today,
The 10th.
10th. All day.
that's good to know.
Okay.
Come on, you're the secretary, come on. What's today?
Again, it's
The 10th, all day long.
So don't pretend you know, LA. You didn't even know.
Ruthless, Leo.
That's it from this side.
That's it from over here, Melissa.
Okay, and then we're ready for the next agenda item,
All
please.
right. Swearing in of all board members. Melissa?
Irene is going to administer the oath.
We can all stand and raise your right hand, and at the end, you either answer yes or I do. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that you will faithfully execute the duties of the office of the Nueces County Appraisal District Board of Directors and will, to the best of your ability, preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution and the laws of the United States and of the state of Texas? So help you God.
I will.
And then if you'll just sign that one, and then we'll have Irene notarize that.
That's it over here. The ladies are doing a good job. Okay, now we go to the election of officers. Do we have any nominations?
I nominate Jerry Garcia for president.
Thank you. Is there a second on that nomination?
I'll just.
Neil seconds it, okay. Thank you, sir. Is there any other nominations for chairmanship?
Chairman.
Looks like you're it.
I was looking it up.
No good thing goes unpunished. All right, yeah, that's good.
Another year with Ronnie, oh my goodness. Chair, but I don't
It's just the hands that I mind. So
Yeah.
now we'll vote on it. All in favor of Jerry Garcia as chairman for the Tax Appraisal Board, vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Let the record show it passes unanimously. Thank you very much. And thank you for your confidence. Now, as vice chair, I will take nominations now for vice chair. I'll make a nomination for L.A. Elizondo to be the vice chairman.
Second.
There's a second from Mr. Kieschnick. Is there any other nominations for vice chair? Sorry, Mr. Elizondo.
Another year back.
And seeing none, I'll call a vote now. All in favor of LA, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Let the record show it passes unanimously. Congratulations, LA. And now let's go ahead and take nominations for secretary, treasurer.
I nominate Leo Gonzalez.
Leo is nominated for secretary, treasurer. And does anyone want an audit of the treasury funds before we, oh, never mind. And so there's a nomination for Leo for the secretary, treasurer. Is there a second, please?
Second.
Devin seconds that. Any other nominations for secretary, treasurer? All in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Let the record show it passes unanimously. Thank you very much for your service, Leo. I'll get aside. Now, with that, it's good to serve again and serve another term, and we're all looking forward to serving the citizens of Nueces County. Thank you very much for your guidance and your confidence. Now, let's go ahead and go to public comment. Irene?
No public comment.
Irene, there's no public comment. Thank you, ma'am. Now we're going to go to item number 9. And unless you want me to specifically break out an item, I'll accept a motion to accept everything as presented, as written to us in our minutes.
So moved.
Motion by L.A. Is there a second, please? Leo seconds it. Any further discussion? All in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Let the record show it passes unanimously. Thank you very much. Ms. Nowak, you're on.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
There is nothing to say. There's 4 brand-new auxiliary members. They've all been notified, and I have sent them the link. There's a couple little trainings they have to do, open meetings and public info. So I sent them the links, and they've all been working on getting those out of the way before their meeting. And the ARB has their workshop 2 weeks from tomorrow on January 25th, so everybody will be sworn in then. And we're just waiting for the comptroller to send out the training schedule. So
And Terry, we're full.
yes,
Okay.
yes.
Is there anything else you need at this point?
No, sir.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, Ms.
Thank
Nowak.
you.
Appreciate it. Okay, item number 11 is the discussion and/or action to approve the chief appraiser's appointment of agricultural advisory board members. Excuse me, Ronnie, you want to go in that?
Yeah, go ahead. On number 11, just turn to your tab, you will see the nominees that are going to be set forth. Michael Kirkham, you want to say anything about each individual, or is everything okay with you?
Everything's great. Most of these members have been serving us for a while. We meet with them once a year. They advise us on things going on farming industry down here. Very, very helpful, and I think we're very glad to have them join us.
You know, it's always helpful when there's not a learning curve on that, Michael, you're right. So I appreciate the service that these folks are doing. Is there any questions on this, on the appointments that Ronnie has made?
No.
Hearing none, then I'll go ahead and approve, or rather, accept the motion on, Kevin Moot makes a motion to accept it. A second, please.
Second.
Caitlin seconds it. Thank you, Caitlin. By the way, good morning and Happy New Year. And With that, is there any further discussion on that item? All right, hearing none, all in favor vote aye. Aye. Opposed? Let the record show it passes unanimously. Item number 12, discussion or action to authorize the chief appraiser to finalize and execute contract with Nueces County Clerk for election services on behalf of the district related to the May 4th, 2024 election runoff.
On that, turn to tab 12. You'll get a draft copy of what the contract would look like. We're still in the process of trying to get it done.
And that's
And that
given,
comes shortly.
that's given to us by the AG's office, Ron?
No, it's given to us by the clerk's office, along with the county attorney's office
I see.
from the county of Nueces.
Okay. So we're good on all of this?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Any further discussion on item number 12?
Just a question. I was looking at the, on the, talks about the runoff. Did the Secretary of State say that they had to get 50%?
Yeah.
If you have at-large members, how do you get 50%?
By place.
Well, it's place 1, 2, and 3 individual.
So they're not really at-large then?
They're at large countywide,
Uh-huh.
but places 1, 2, and 3.
So they run for a specific spot, but it's not a,
Within certain boundaries.
it's not a, there's no boundaries, but there's 3 positions and they, one runs for
I believe there's no boundaries. Ken.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was just curious, because when you have it large.
But they have a number assigned to them.
Yeah.
That's weird. So
Yeah,
like,
that's what I'm
Yes.
saying. That was one of the holes I was talking about
Yeah.
that made no sense in the statute.
State at its
Usually-
best.
It could be
Yeah.
to where it would keep it out of a runoff election.
Yeah, because normally
Doing
you
it
have
that
it
way.
large, so you just top 3 vote getters and they're in.
Right, and so just to kind of add to that, so the statute, like you said, does say that it requires a majority vote. And so the Secretary of State did kind of struggle with that, and it took him a little while to get that advisory out. But the only way you can accomplish a majority vote is if you do positions.
Yeah.
So that's the
So they
guidance
run
we've
for a
gotten.
specific spot, and then, but it's still at large.
Okay. Is there any
No
other,
other legend.
I'm sorry, is there any other discussion on that item? I'll go ahead and accept the motion to authorize our chief appraiser to finalize that, please. LA makes that motion. Is there a second, please?
Second.
Kevin seconds it. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Let the record show it passes unanimously. Next item on our agenda is the discussion or action to award a printing and mailing contract to the Master's Touch and authorize the chief appraiser to execute a contract for the base year. Ronnie?
Elias, you want to go into that one?
Certainly. So this is a recurring item. It happens periodically. We farm out the printing for the large print jobs. So it's printing and mailing within the scope of services. We currently have VeryVerge, and their last option year ended December 31st, and we went out and got bids. VeryVerge bid, so did 3 others. We did as much outreach as we could to get as much competition as we could. So we sought bids in December, and the weird thing about this time around is that none of them will hold their prices for a full 5 years, like VeryVerge did with the last contract. We weren't able to get any of them to do it. So what we want to do with this one is we structured it from the very beginning because of other reasons as a base year and then 4 option years that you have to approve annually because legislative changes, technology changes, inflation. So they've been hit with a lot of that on VeryVerge's side. So this time when they all bid, they all had some form of, we're going to ask you for an increase in price in the next year, maybe, subject to our approval. So another advantage to this, Master's Touch came out better than VeryVerge this time. The other 2 weren't as good. So what we want to do is have you approve just the first year. So in other words, a base year contract. We'll come to you again, I guess in a year, asking for the exercising of the second year once we know their prices. They're supposed to let us know by December the 1st of this year what the prices will be for 2025. If it's too high or we don't accept it, then we can always get another quote from VeryVerge, but we'll be set up now with 2 printers instead of just 1. So there's lots of practical advantages to doing it this way. So we're asking you to authorize the chief to execute a contract with them for the base year. The specifics on the costs are located in tab 13. The estimated cost for just the 2024 full cycle renditions and notices is about $48,000 for the services and about $70,000 for the postage. Now, notice that the printing is so much cheaper. It's the postage that's the big thing. It's strictly reimbursable, no markup. So they're just going to pass it on to us, and they're trying to minimize it. There's a lot of criteria behind this, but they try to minimize the postage for us by doing pre-sort, bulk mail. They try to minimize the packages going to the same person, like say an agent has multiple accounts in that run. They try to put them together in the smallest packaging possible. There's a lot of mechanics to this. So we're asking you to authorize the chief to execute the contract for that base year.
Elias,
Mm-hmm.
what kind of leeway time do you get, or Ronnie gets, from, for instance, the master's touch, to that we're going to up the price?
They're going to let us know by December 1st what the price will be for 2025. Each year they have to let us know. We went back and forth on that. They have to let us know by December the 1st what the price will be for the next year.
So then we have a 30-day window.
Actually, it's about 5 weeks because renditions are first to go out, and that's the end of January, so we
Okay.
still have time.
Okay, so that, everything else being equal, if they would say, Elias, we're gonna go up,
Mhm.
and which I would venture to say probably is going to happen,
Mhm.
at that point, why are we limiting the other bid only to Valved?
Well, there's a lot of specifics behind those other two bidders. One of them has never done a CAD before. They were also the most expensive. The other one has 2 small CADs that they did, and their print jobs were very small. We think they can do it. We think they all can do the job, but it's what does it take to get there?
So logistically, it makes sense just for the top 2 to go ahead and do this.
Well, yeah, and we can even contact the other 2, at that point, see if anything's changed with them.
I just don't want there to be any blowback on the appraisal district that, well, you didn't give us a second opportunity and you limited. So in your opinion,
Mhm.
probably the best thing would be to go ahead and just get the first top 2, or how do you feel about that?
Yeah, well, here's, because there was 3 of us on this, and I think we all agree that it was kind of like Master's Touch, Very Verge, Gap, that other
I
one,
see.
and then Gap.
Okay. Okay,
You know what I
You
mean?
answered.
So it makes sense to just look at the top 2.
I
Okay.
can give some insight on this. We've used laser printers quite a bit in tax office, so they're good. I think Ronnie maybe when you.
so you've had experience
We've
with
had
it?
experience with laser printers, we've had experience with
Yours
Master Touch
passed.
and Bearverge. They're all fine. I don't know who Jeffco is, never heard
Okay.
of them. But we do ours on an annual basis prior to mailing, and because of these same issues that they're bringing up, we can't contract long-term
Right,
anymore.
and I understand that.
And I think it's just because of the unknown of what the postal costs are
Okay.
gonna be, so.
All
And
right.
that's been going up
That
every
makes
year.
sense. Okay, so now let's go ahead and get a motion to authorize Ronnie to award this printing and mailing contract. May I?
To execute.
LA makes that motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Kevin Keating seconds that. Any discussion on that item? Seeing none, all in favor, vote aye. Aye. Opposed? Let the record show it passes unanimously. And now, we are going to go into executive session. And
Just make sure they don't go too far.
Ronnie says make sure you don't go too far and don't use the restroom more than once because plumbing is sort of iffy. So, or go next door. Public notice is given that the Board of Directors may elect to go into executive session anytime during the meeting to discuss matters listed anywhere on the agenda. When authorized by the Open Meetings Act, Chapter 551 of the Texas Government Code, should the Board of Directors elect to go into executive session, the section or sections of the Open Meetings Act authorizing the executive session will be publicly announced by the presiding officer. Upon completion of executive session, the Board of Directors may take such action as appropriate in open session. It is now 9:20. back in open session.
so he knows.
There is no action relative to the executive session. So now, we'll go into item number 16, the Chief Appraiser's Report. Ronnie?
Okay, we have a conference coming up in February 18th through 21st. It'll be at the Marriott there in Houston. But the reason we're bringing it up to y'all is because there's going to have a couple of issues on the agendas for new board members and the board of directors as to some of the changes that are going to affect you and affects the appraisal district. So I would encourage the board of directors to try and make that meeting. We need to know, we've reserved some rooms, but it's not going to be at the same hotel. It's going to be about maybe 4 or 5 blocks away from because it's already sold out. And it'll be encouraging for us to make sure we know what changes are going to be coming up between now and the rest of the year.
Along those lines, I have been remiss because I have not been to the last few sessions of the conferences, but I will check my calendar, Irene, and I will make a diligent effort to try to attend. And it'll be Heather and I, and I would urge all of us to try to make it. You will, the things you learn at these meetings, at least the last couple that I went to, were really eye-opening. And I know that Kevin is in state legislature, and he's involved in the sausage making, but it's something that is really eye-opening. And for us that are not immersed as much as Ronnie or Kevin, or our attorneys or staff even, this is an eye-opening experience. I will plan on going, Irene, but I need to check my calendar.
Okay, and if you can let me know by the 18th.
I'll let you know by
that
next
way-
week.
January the 18th, that way I can register you.
Yes, ma'am.
For the conference.
Okay, so by January 18th, ladies and gentlemen, we need to let Irene know, and so she can book it. And
Can you just send us an email reminder or whatever?
yeah, would you please, Irene?
Yes.
Please.
And also, let me see, other than that,
You going right?
go ahead.
Did your email change?
I'm sorry?
Did your email change this year?
Yes. Do you need my new email address? I have a
No,
new
she's
email.
just gonna guess what it is.
Hold on, let me- No, I'm gonna cover it here, so I'll give you.
I don't want to offend anybody.
Luis at elelizondolaw.com. Luis@elelizondolaw.com.
Let me write that down.
We're gonna spam you there.
LA, we also copy your assistant. Has that email changed as well?
That Crystal? It could be Crystal.
Whoever it is this-
Yes. Just do Crystal@elelizondolaw.com.
Let them know why you changed it.
Oh.
Congratulations.
Yeah, but I have a new, I left the firm as of December 31st, so,
They kicked out.
yeah, I'll be working remotely from the house, and I'll keep my Laredo office.
Actually, he's gonna be working from his car. And,
No, that's very good.
That's Terry.
that's Terry Shanley, that's right. Okay, so now we have the LA's new email, and, go ahead, Ronnie.
No, the second thing, again, it's one of the new bills that legislatures have passed, and that's called the circuit breaker limitations. And that's basically values that are 5 million or less, they can be capped, they're going to be capped at 20% of an increase on a yearly basis for the next 2 or 3 years. At the end of the third year, they'll decide whether that's going to continue or not. Okay? So that will be strictly for real estate. It's not going to hit on personal property, and it's also for non-homesteaded properties, just so you know. Okay?
So homestead property is gonna remain equal
They
and
have
uniform?
10%, they still have a 10% cap.
Yeah,
Okay.
there's still a 10% use
So
school districts,
basically, this is just for like rental properties and stuff like that?
additional properties, yes.
How does improvements work in that?
I'm
Well,
sorry?
it's
Say you bought an
taxable.
old property, right, and you put, I'm gonna make it up, let's say it's 200,000, you put 200,000 into it and improved it into something. is the max that can go up is 20%?
Right,
Well,
just like your homestead.
It's, the appraised values can be the appraised value, but it's a taxable value cap
Yeah.
is what it is.
Okay,
So
okay,
it'd be
gotcha.
200,000, but we can go up to 20% of that,
Okay,
of an increase for that year. But it'll be just like your homestead, it's capped at 10%. That's basically what's, it can go up, but you're gonna be
But the
capped at
cap,
10%.
okay.
Okay? And that's gonna be on non-homesteaded properties. No personal property, just non-homesteaded properties. Okay? And then, of course, the last one is the third floor renovation. We're gonna start looking into that within the next couple of months, and then we'll go from there.
What are we going to be doing? Who has the handle on this? Is it you, Neil, or Elias on the third floor renovations? What are we going, do you have any sort of plan yet? I know we had a plan initially, but I think that's been discarded. But do we know what we're, an issue, or do we have an idea of what we're going to do up there on the third floor?
Well, what we want to do basically is, if you've seen the other half of the third floor, is basically do the same thing. Refloor it, in other words, take all that carpet out of there. There's some ceiling issues that we might have to deal with to make sure that it conforms with what we're doing here. Safety issue. The electrical system, well, the electrical wiring will also be part of what we need to do. And also add another, like to add another, what do you call it? Boardroom for the ARB people. Okay, we have 4, and now we're going to 5. The reason we're doing all this is because, again, staff went yesterday to make presentation, well, to listen to the presentation that the city made on the election of the new board members coming up in July. And part of the deal is that there's a lot of misinformation as to what these people are going to do. One of them was saying that, population hasn't gone up, but values go up every year. Well, population has nothing to do with values, just so you all know. And that's what I needed for them to know, but that's another day for that discussion with them. The thing is that it's based on sales, and those sales is what's going to drive the value to come up or come down. That's basically it. But it's not based on any kind of basis for population growth. We are seeing population growth. We are seeing a lot of new development this coming year. Again, I think we're going to be inundated with more taxpayers coming in, especially because of the circuit breaker deal. Whether they qualify, don't qualify, we'll get a lot of phone calls about that. We'll also see, like I'm saying, there's different pockets throughout the county that have a lot of new value that's going to be in for this coming year. Port Aransas, again, it's going to be hot. That's not going to lend itself to lowering values. The island is growing as well. There's some new development in there that's going to increase values around those areas. Downtown area, well, downtown is still the same. We don't foresee too much of increases in the downtown area. But then you go down to Yorktown Road to Flower Bluff. On both sides of Yorktown, you're going to see a lot of new development in there. New construction, whether it's commercial or residential. So staff will be inundated with a lot of work this year as well. And London is like I'm saying. So that's what we need to push to get the third floor done. That way for the year 25, that budget, I'm gonna let y'all know. The way I'm looking at it for 25, it's gonna grow. That budget is gonna grow. It's not gonna be a 4% increase. You're gonna be looking anywhere from 10 to 15% increase because we're gonna be asking for additional staff members, appraisers, and clerks, along with other things that we need to get done for 25. Remember that this year we were stuck because of a couple of entities that didn't want us to move on our budget, and we did so. We went ahead and complied with that. I felt that we shouldn't because it hinders future growth for the appraisal district. Plus, it also puts a hinder as to what we have to do going forward. The better resources we have to work with here in this office, the better things are going to be for the employees. If you have any questions, let me know. I encourage you to come to the conference on the 18th to the 21st in Houston. Let Irene know before or by the 18th. Everything will be paid for. You just need to get there.
When is the conference in San Antonio? And will it be covering the same topics or no?
I'm pretty sure they will, Elaine. That's basically your litigation deal, and that's latter part of August when that's done. Okay? And
That'll
then,
be after the election and new board members
Right.
come on. This
See, and I
this
think,
one, this one's very heavy. I've seen the agenda. It's very heavy
Right.
on that whole scenario, that whole
and that's what
topic.
concerns me. I'd really like to hear from the folks that.
We all need to understand it.
Yeah, and that's why it's important to try to attend this meeting if you can. And every meeting's important, but this one has maybe something that's going to be more pointed and relevant to our situation.
They
As
have
far-
specific for board members. They
Right.
have it's not like a whole general session with everybody in there. They've got sessions for the appraisers and
Right.
the people who work for the appraisal district. They have sessions specifically for the board members, and they're very heavy on this topic.
Will any of this be by Zoom or some chance?
I don't know. I don't think so.
You never know? Look at that.
No, they want the money, so I want you to be there. That's what they
The,
do.
on what Ronnie was talking about, I can tell you that as a real estate developer, you work ahead. You work ahead, you don't work current. So when I go in and develop, or any of us go in and develop subdivisions or commercial properties, we're not doing it for today. We're doing it for 18, 20 months from now. Because that's when that population is going to get to that area. So my job is when I look at something and I talk to some of those farmers, I look at, because I'm trying to gauge where the growth is going to. And it may have been overplayed in certain parts of this county. Without going into specifics, I can tell you that it has been overplayed in certain parts of this county. But those are things that we do. That's why there's an after effect is there's going to be more value placed because we've done more. But that doesn't necessarily mean that more the homes are being built or shopping centers are being built. It's not that, but the value of the land has gone up because I put in infrastructure, and once you put in infrastructure, man, that property bounces up. So it's those are the things that are happening, and no matter who comes in and raises Cain with us about we need to keep everything as low as we can, and we try. No one's being arbitrarily capricious, but we need to face the facts that some things are worth more after we've done something to them.
Well, taxes are going up because the taxing jurisdictions
Sure.
has nothing to do with the appraised value.
That's right. That's
You know,
right.
The taxing jurisdictions set the rates, they set how much money they spend. They're the ones spending the money, they're the ones raising the taxes. It has nothing to do with the appraisal district.
That's right. Okay.
Before I forget, I just want to end it by just saying that since there's no questions on what we're doing, Telsa is coming. I think they're going to be breaking ground. Are they going to be doing something this year? Telsa. What's her name?
Tesla.
Yeah, Tesla, whatever you call it. Anyway, T.Y. Pickett's going to be doing that part for this coming year, going forward on that part. The other thing too is staff is prepared to do what needs to get done, and Tesla. I didn't want to compliment the staff for doing what they do, but I also want to give legals over here a pat on the back for doing what they've done. They've been inundated with a lot of the new lawsuits, and we got how many more yesterday? 8 more yesterday. And I think, when is that going to stop?
Never.
Yeah, never, you're right.
On the Tesla deal, or as Ronnie says, the Texla,
Telsa.
there's a home in the area that I live in. Homes very rarely come up for sale, but there's a home that came up, and the builder of the Tesla plant bought that home, and they moved in, and I've talked to the person in charge, who's the wife, And she's really excited, and she says that they're going to be here probably for a while, for years, because they're really going to do some very modern things in that Tesla plant. And that's going to be an exciting proposition for Nueces County. It's a good deal. Okay, anything else, Ron?
It'll be good for Robstown. No, any questions on what we've discussed on this, even though it's not on the agenda?
Okay.
Okay.
Does that make it from the garden?
Monday?
Might that make it think of the garden?
Yes, she thought I was a gardener, that's why. There are not too many Hawaiians that live in that subdivision. So, anyway, enough that I come from the big island of Papyrus, LA. So,
You know where home is, right?
no. So with that, do we have any items for next regular meeting? Any items for Ronnie to address, or Elias, or seeing none? I'll go ahead and accept the motion to adjourn this meeting.
So moved.
LA makes that motion at 9:50 in the morning. Let the record show, 9:50. Is there a second? Leo seconds it. Any discussion? All in favor, vote aye. Aye. Thank you very much, folks.